Monday, the 11th of May. Can you believe we're already into May? We are here for our monthly Monday with the Masters, and today's session is going to be a really great one. And I'm going to start off with introducing the members of our leadership team who are present. We have Darlene Pratt, who is our communications chair. She's running the Zoom session here. Courtney Hoy. Courtney is our education chair. If you have any interest in any of the 12, I believe it's 12 certifications or the CRS designation and classes that we have available, reach out to Courtney and we'll bring an education course near you and to you. Christine McClellan. Christine is special in terms of operations manager, and Alexa Kebalo is our host today, and we'll get into Alexa's session. These sessions would not be happening without support of our 2026 strategic partners. And the strategic partners that we have for this year are Annie Mac Momentum Group. We've got Coast to Coast Closings. We've got G-Bar, Satira Law, Rocket Mortgage, Kim Stone, and MLS PIN. If you have business opportunities, I encourage you to try one of our strategic partners. They're here to serve you because they know that CRS designees serve at a high level, and these folks are here to help you. Today's session, positive psychology, building resiliency for our real estate businesses. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce the Connecticut REALTORS president for this year, my friend Alexa Kebalo, and I'm going to turn it over to Alexa right now.
Awesome. Well, Greg, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. You guys always are putting out great content, so I'm happy to be on the Monday call here, Monday with the Masters. So I guess that's me. And by the way, anyone's Alexa's devices that are going to be going off, yes. I am the original, as we were mentioning before we got rolling here. But enough about that. So today we're going to come to you with a really important topic, realtor wellness and resiliency. So I will share with you all, as we all know, right, going up and down and all around in this housing market, and what's happening? Or is the inventory coming back anytime soon, right? We have to be very resilient. So I think this is such a great time to be able to be talking about different wellness tips and practices and mindset. So that way we're able to make sure we're in a peak state, and we're able to go with the ebbs and flows of our business. So I'll start by sharing, I've been a realtor for 15 years. I'm very grateful to be the Connecticut Association of Realtors president, which is wonderful. And what I will say is that I've gone through a pretty awesome career. And I'll never forget this moment. It was 2019. I got Realtor Magazine's 30 Under 30 in the nation. And it was one of the heights in my career, but it was one of the bottoms of my personal life. So I literally lost the ability to speak for about 2 years. And so for about 2 years, I went to every doctor. They're like, we don't know what's wrong with you. They're like, we're going to put you in a voice diet. So we understand that anytime you speak, your voice kind of cuts out, or I'll be speaking, negotiating with agents, and then all of a sudden my voice would cut. Leading meetings like this, my voice would cut. They're like, we're going to put you in a voice diet. No talking or whispering for 2 whole weeks. You can't even try to talk. Can you guys imagine what that would do to your life and your business? Hello? Hello? So anyways, I had to take it into my own hands. The doctor's like, we literally have no idea what's wrong with you. I'm like, thank you so much. So finally, I was at a holistic health fair, and I'll never forget, it was my turn to speak. And I said, my name's Alexa, and I'm here because my voice cut again. And this woman across from me goes, you know what, Alexa? I'm a breathing therapist. And for as long as you've been sitting across from me, you have not been breathing into your diaphragm. You've been doing shallow breathing. You are suffocating yourself slowly. You are so stressed that you're like running from a lion and a tiger and a bear. Oh my. And you have so much cortisol that you literally can't breathe. And I'm like, what? Me? Stress? Not me. Are you kidding? So it's funny how the body can manifest certain ailments if we're ignoring our own our own wellness. And for me, I'm like, what do you mean? I'm fine. I'm not stressed. Maybe my body's stressed. Meanwhile, I'm like, bring it on. Like, what's next? So, anyways, I promised myself a few things. If I ever got my voice back, which by the way, what I had to do is a lot of these practices I'm going to be talking about here today. I had to learn how to breathe, folks, okay? I had to learn how to delegate and elevate. I took so many things off my plate so I could focus on the highest and best. And I promised if I ever got my voice back, that I would do several things, which was I would make sure everything I do is my highest and best use, delegate the rest as much as possible. And then I said that I would share these tools and tips so I can help others. So as things would have it, I actually met these people. I'm going to do a little screen share. They teach resiliency and wellness courses for first responders. And you would never believe, but first responders, they have so many stresses similar to us that you wouldn't even. I went to a 3-day seminar with these folks, and we're going around the room. We have firemen, we have EMTs, we have trauma nurses, we have police officers, and literally there was myself and two other realtors. They heard our stresses and they were like, all right, you belong here too. So I just want you guys all to know that it's warranted. Like, I know we all have like the badge of busy and this and that, but there's ways that we can go about our business. So, anyways, so I partnered with them to bring some of this content to you all, which, by the way, they have a curriculum online that's like on demand. There's a full 3-day retreat. We're going to talk here for about 15, 20 minutes, just some of the higher level thoughts. So, baggage we carry. We all carry so much baggage, whether it's from our own past, right? Like I went through a divorce, I had 2 back surgeries, right? We're dealing with so many things at any given time. And then we have dealing with this housing market, dealing with a lack of inventory, dealing with so many things that we're carrying. Well, usually when I'm in person, I show you the visual of carrying all these bags. We don't have to carry them. We can just use a nice little roller bag, right? So these are little tips and tools that can help you guys, use a nice little convenient little travel roller bag through life. So some of the top reasons for real estate agent burnout. Hello, we're working all hours of the day and night, 24/7 phone calls, emails, texts. Do you guys have any that you want to throw out on the reasons why there's burnout in this industry?
I think
Boundaries.
making ourselves
Boundary?
available,
Lack,
make,
don't set your boundaries.
Yep.
yeah, being available 24/7.
Yep.
Balancing work life with small kids and trying to do it all.
Trying to do it all. You're at the baseball game and you're in the sidelines pretending you're cheering on Bobby, but we're actually negotiating multiple offers. It is what it is, right? So no matter what, just like a firefighter, we're always be putting out fires. We're always going to be responding. So there's resiliency tools that can actually help us, right? Understand the concept that the job doesn't love you back. Meaning, when I love my career, I love this. However, when I lost my voice, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I would do anything to have my voice back. Like, yeah, I've been working so hard, but imagine not being able to talk for the rest of your life, right? So it's like that balance. The balance in homeostasis is turning the maladaptive to the adaptive, which we'll talk about, learning the concept of being where your feet are. So if you're at your kid's baseball game or birthday party, trying to be as present, learning how to set healthy boundaries. My biggest boundary set is within myself. I need to set boundaries for myself. Like, Alexa, it can wait. Like a lot of things that we do can wait, right? So let's talk about it. So this is something that's staggering. When I started working with these folks, they started looking at the burnout and the need for this resiliency course in the industry. I'm like, guys, we need this. And they found that a 2021 survey revealed that suicide rate for real estate agents was so much higher than the average person. And in fact, we ranked fifth out of all surveyed professionals. The only ones to top us were lawyers, financial planners, dentists, and doctors. Can you imagine that? We're even higher suicide rate than first responders that I had mentioned. How insane. So just know that we're happy to be talking about this topic. So what is resilience, right? Resiliency. So this graphic right here says it all. No matter what, we're going to bounce down. Are we going to bounce back up like a tennis ball, right? There's always going to be stuff coming at us, or we're going to crack like an egg. I don't know about you all, but I want to be the tennis ball as much as possible. Um, so there's this whole concept that they teach is the crisis equals opportunity. No matter what, there's always going to be an event, right? So the resiliency and the post-traumatic growth opportunity comes like this. No matter what, there's an event. There's an event in the middle of here, right? If you have resiliency training or some of these tools, I'm sure a lot of people have certain tools in their tool belt already. But with the training and things like this discussion, when you face the event, whatever that event may be, you either can have post adversity growth where you actually grow your in self confidence, you enhance your leadership skills, you feel personal strength, maybe spiritual growth and appreciation of life, or after this event that comes, which is inevitable, post traumatic stress which can actually over time lead to a disorder, which could result in treatment, right? But it's about catching ourselves, catching ourselves. That's a feeling of anxiety, anger, sometimes substance abuse, and of course, violence and feelings of isolation, right? So this is Frederickson's broaden and build model. So no matter what, once you have the event, you either spiral down or you spiral up. So we always say catch ourselves, catching ourselves when you have the event, whatever that's coming, maybe it's even a phone call, it could be something silly. And instead of spiraling downwards, notice it, catch yourself, and then spiral back up. And we're going to talk about ways that you could spiral back up. Now, this is actually a really cool graphic too. So we all want to live in homeostasis, like going back to science class, right? Homeostasis is the window of tolerance. That is when your body's in an optimal state. You can access both reason and emotion. You're mentally engaged, right? We're feeling good. So a lot of real estate demands us to be in hyperarousal, right? That anxious, like overreactive, like boom, 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 boom. Like it's almost required to be able to be good at our jobs, okay? However, sometimes we have the feelings of unclear thoughts, emotional distress. So what you need to do to get back into the window of tolerance, the homeostasis, is you might use mindfulness, grounding techniques, breath work, right? There's 1,000 ways we could do this. Now, when someone's in hypoarousal, they're shutting down. When you're outside of that window of tolerance in the negative manner, that's the feeling of depression, feeling lethargic, numb, unmotivated. And we need to use mindfulness, breath work, physical activity, go for a walk, whatever you need to do to get back in that window of tolerance. So the sympathetic nervous system, it's like the gas is on versus the parasympathetic nervous system, which is like the brake, right? So this is all inevitable. So there's so many ways we can help with this. So gratitude is a great practice. I'm sure so many of you guys utilize this, right? So it helps foster new optimistic neuroplasticity in the brain and positive thinking, helps coping with your daily hassle, stress, and trauma, and it really increases your quality of life, etc. And truly, you cannot have a negative and a positive thought at the same time. As far as like, if you are sulking in the issue and the problem, the solution is at another level. It's another vibration. So these are ways to cultivate gratitude, keeping a journal, gratitude jar. My niece is 5 years old. We actually have a little ball that we pass back and forth. I'm like, Harley, I'm grateful for you. She'll be like, I'm grateful for you, Auntie. And we'll go back and forth and back and forth. I mean, there's so many cool little tips and tricks. In the class, we actually do a sticky. So this is something you guys can do in your offices or in a meeting is 3 stickies. Write out 3 different things you're grateful for and put it on the wall, right? Maybe you have a loved one. Maybe you say you're grateful for them every day. Sometimes it's hard to find something, right? Do any of you guys have a gratitude practice that you guys participate in?
I when I'm actually on, if you will, because it ebbs and flows. My morning ritual was gratitudes, affirmations, meditation, and working out. But I'm off now, so I might need to talk to you more.
Yeah, there you go. And you know what? Like so many of this, we already have so many of the skills, and it's almost like a reminder, right? So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. So another really awesome thing that we did in the course was a gratitude letter. So, and sometimes when we have a longer class, we'll say, okay, everyone, text someone that you haven't talked to in a while. Like, hi, how are you doing? I miss you, just check in on people, right? And then actually in the class, we wrote a nice letter and then read it to our loved ones. And it's unbelievable. They're like, oh my God, is everything okay? Because so often we don't get to share with others how much we appreciate them. I actually made mine for my grandpa and my mother. She was in the class too. She did it for my father, and it was funny because we're all on the phone like listening to, and everyone's like, "Wait, is everything okay?" So it just shows you we need to show more appreciation and gratitude to the loved ones around us. So it was a really nice little tool there. Um, and as you learn and grow, you extend yourself and give that same grace to others, as we know. And the whole concept of duality, the thing on the left I really love, you're resilient and you need a break, right? Like we don't need to fall on the sword for everything. You gave it your all, and sometimes you need to back out, right? The deal's not working out. You're independent and you still need others. That's why I love groups like this. Like we're the peer-to-peer support, right? There's nothing worse than being on an island. Maybe you were sure and things changed, right? Such is life. You are kind and you have boundaries. Like we're allowed to have boundaries in this business, right? Others have it worse. So sometimes I'll get in that whole thing of like, I don't have it that bad. But you know what? Others have it worse and my pain is still valid. Okay. And lastly, you did your best and now you know more, right? Live and you learn. So I can go on and on and on and on. Anyways, so a lot of the tools are about resetting, reframing, and rewiring your brain. A changed mind is simply one thought away. You are truly one thought away from changing your mind and changing everything around you. And when bad stuff happens, change your lens. Rather than getting stressed or bummed out, say, okay, good. What do I have to learn from this here? Right? And we're going to talk about that more in a second. A few other things that I do, and we get way deeper into this in the course. I've also done like a 4-hour virtual on this. So there's so many different ways to gather this information, but being present, grounding. Oh my God. Like one of my favorite things to do after like a Zoom like this, I've been on Zooms all morning. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to put your feet in the earth, right? Feel the sun on your face, deep breaths, right? The box breathing. I'm not sure if you guys ever done box breathing. It's a breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4. If you do that like 3 times, when we have more time, we can do it together, you literally reset. The military does that for a reason. And of course, we mentioned physical movement and activity, the gratitude, and just giving grace to yourself and others. So, going back to the crisis equaling an opportunity, anytime that there's a challenge, there's an opportunity for growth, right? So realizing, yeah, like what good could be realized from the situation, right? When something bad happens or I make a mistake, it's like, okay, what can I not that I did something wrong, but it's like how can I reframe this for next time? What can I do better? How can I be more proactive, right? We all know that, just even being a real estate agent, a realtor, like you learn so much. What good can be realized from the situation? You know, what can I develop in myself? What am I supposed to learn? What is this? Is this a new opportunity for me to lead, right? We are all leaders here in this call. I don't care whether you have a title or not. We're leaders of our own lives, of our families and loved ones, our clients that we're leading, and our greater community as a whole, and groups like this, right? So, anyways, I can go on and on. So, one of the things that we talk about too is the ABC plus D and E method, okay? This goes back to that event in the post-traumatic growth or stress. So let's just go through an actual event of what this can be, right? So this is an example. So we start to the top left. A is an activating event. So let's pretend I have a son. Son returns home and goes to room without speaking to you. The B is the belief. My belief is, oh my God, my son is so rude. And actually, the president of Resilient Minds on the Front Lines, he had this exact example, okay? So he's like, oh my gosh, my belief is my son is so rude. I can't believe it. So the thought is, he's an ungrateful little, you know what? Um, so the consequence would be an argument. He literally was storming over to his son's door, like, knock, 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 like, you know? So A, B, C, the consequence. A is activating event. B is the belief. Can't believe it. My son's so rude. C, the consequence. I'm gonna knock on his door and give him a piece of my mind, right? So D, this is where we stop ourselves. D is you dispute the belief. Stop before you take action. Maybe there's more to this story, right? Let's go to my son's room and have a friendly talk. Instead of me activating, even though I had one rule that when he comes home, he has to say goodnight to me, got to make sure he wasn't out doing anything crazy, you know. And thank God he's used the ABC plus D&E method because he stopped himself from overreacting. He calmly went to his son's room and had a nice talk. And guess what? It turned out his girlfriend broke up with him. That's why went to his room without talking to dad. Can you imagine if dad went over there and was activating? It would have been even worse of a situation for the son, but instead they had a nice heart to heart. So there's 1,000 ways that we can apply this to our businesses, our lives, you name it. I don't know about you guys, but even being stuck in traffic and someone cuts you off and you're like, oh my gosh, every time that happens, whether it's true or not, I'm like, maybe there's an emergency. Let him go. Why do I need to let my blood pressure go up for no reason, right? So the other thing I want to talk to you all about is everyone comes from their own unique set of skills, experiences, and lenses in life. And there is trauma that a lot of people have gone through, right? So whatever the trauma could be, it could be an emotional response to a deeply distressing and disturbing experience. It could be emotional, physical, acute, chronic, complex, and we can get into more of that another time. Trauma could also be transgenerational, right? We pass on a lot of our limiting beliefs and traumas to our future. One time they had a class actually, and there was a dog, a service dog that came in. And one of the students was like visibly so scared. And it turned out her mother had a really traumatic experience from a dog. And sometimes that just carries forward. So I think just as we move through life, realizing that everyone comes with their own past levels of trauma, and that let that be one of the lenses that you use while we give grace to ourselves and others. Another reason for real estate agent burnout is a lack of community. I don't know about you all, but I think now more than ever that everyone's on Zoom and virtual, you know, so many real estate agents feel like they're working alone in silos. They may feel that they don't have anyone to turn to. Again, that's why I love communities like this that you guys are creating. I think that camaraderie, I know going to your events and things like that is the best. And what we challenge people to do is have their own BOD. We all know the term board of directors, but have your own board of directors, right? That you can personally reach out to. Maybe it's someone that okay, and first off, everyone has a board of directors, whether you choose who's on your board or not, right? So, meaning it's like my favorite singer, Pitbull, goes, show me your friends, I'll show you your future, right? Um, and we're really the combination of the five people closest to us. So, you may have people on your board of directors that constantly influence you and informs your worldviews and molds who you are and your character that you may not even realize. Maybe it's a parent that you're like, oh, they're awful. They're influencing you, right? So recognizing, take an evaluation of who you spend your most time and energy with, and then also maybe make conscious decisions on additional people or groups to go to for different situations where you want to consciously get feedback on how to react, respond, and move through life, right? It could even be someone that's passed away, like, what would my grandpa do? Or like people say, what would Jesus do, right? Like you're gonna have a board of directors one way or another. So make a conscious effort to understand who's on your board and reach out to those that you'd like to be. And I have people that call me, hey Alexa, you're my board. This is a board of directors call. I'm like, oh wait, which one is it? Which is it one of the association boards or okay, no, one of these calls. So it's really important to be mindful of that. So recap in this wonderful time we've had together, no matter what, there's so many things that are coming our way. and we can either decide to grow and learn and actually have a post event type of upwards trajectory or negatively. And with this tools like gratitude, journaling, the box breathing, the grounding, there's so many resiliency tools using the ABC plus D&E method that we're able to stop, catch ourselves catching ourselves, go to your board of directors, lean into groups like this, and you can really experience the best life and career you can have. So if anyone that's interested, there's some free resiliency tools available, which I could send out to everyone. And just know that I'm available to deep dive with anyone that would like to learn more. And thank you guys so very much. Appreciate your time.
Wow, Alexa, I knew you had many talents, and I think the first time I had met you was Alexa.
My list.
No, what was I going to say about Alexa's talents? I was going to say all these things. No, the you had your voice back, and it was during COVID, and we were at the opposite ends of the board table at Smart MLS. Remember that?
Oh, yes. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, my question for you, and I'm going to open it up for questions. Do you use this technique not just on yourself, but with clients? Do you ever take this ability? And now I know you know a lot of medical and psychological things. So, maybe I'll have to add you to my board.
Please do.
Do you ever try to help the client when they're stressed? Let's say the buyer that gets an offer rejected. How do you, in case study, how do you use it? Do you
No,
have?
I love this question. And actually, I more recently had a client that was actually neurodivergent. Like, she didn't tell me exactly what was happening, but she had so much anxiety that I had to I'm like, thank God I took psychology in college, but I mean, I feel like we're all psychologists practically doing what we do, right? Psychiatrists. But I actually was like, wow, I was hyper focused on how I was using all these little tools and tricks. But I asked her, when we were navigating the selling process, for instance, very overwhelming for her, childhood home, and she I said, listen, it seems to me that it's better to talk in the morning for you. Does that sound better for these big discussions and decisions? She said, yes. I said, good. I said, are there any things that you like to do, when you're feeling, that you need to get yourself more settled? She's like, yes, I'd love to go for a walk. I'm like, okay, great. So I would actually encourage my client, and it was interesting because I would do these things indirectly, but to actually voice and talk about this with my client, take care of yourself and call me when you're ready to talk, right? So it's kind of changing the way you do business and being more mindful, of the client. And a lot of times, let's say we have a buyer that's really stressed out or something, maybe they lost out on the fifth house. At this point, just let them know, listen, it's okay. Go for a walk, like take some time. Is there something you like to do? Go do it. Or maybe it's a multiple offer situation. They need to get their head on straight before they make a decision. Okay, go do that. Right. And so I think it's really important, not only for ourselves, but also be able to use this with our clients.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
I do.
Darlene, go ahead.
I love this topic, by the way. So thank you for sharing your insight. So for women, especially in the morning, our cortisol starts to raise, as we know, and if we don't get it under control, then we can just spiral, as your graphic showed. So, do you have a morning routine that helps you kind of stop there and not let it get out of control? Because naturally, it just rises.
It totally does. So it's funny because during COVID, I probably had like a 12-step morning routine process because it was like, oh my God, I have nothing but my own energy and I don't have to leave the house as much. And oh my gosh. So it's been an adjustment because for me, like to go from like doing so much, like I've learned to give myself a little bit more grace and that my routine can look a little bit different every day.
Mhm.
So, but for sure, every single day before I wake up, what I found to be best, I actually go on YouTube and I play like a 20-minute morning meditation. So I actually set my alarm knowing that I want the extra 20 minutes. Some people always just snooze, but I'll actually play. And there's so many good ones like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Louise Hay. Like there's so many good ones. And I'll just start my morning by listening. And I'm like literally half asleep. And I actually will do the same thing at night. There's even nighttime meditations. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God. You know, and to me, that's like the easiest thing I could do to start programming my brain and getting myself set and positive before my foot even touches the ground, you know? So for me, that's been really huge. At my max, like my morning routine was wild. Like I literally would go outside as soon as I would wake up. Now it's a little bit different because I have my nieces that live with me. So, you know, auntie mama. But like my favorite routine when I can, if no one is needing me, is to be able to go outside and to be able to put my feet outside. Even in the winter, I put my coat on and just if it was sunny, I would face the sun and I would just do like I like to pray. I would do like the Lord's Prayer. And I would if there was another any type of like gratitude journaling thing, I could do like that. It doesn't have to take long either. We don't have a lot of time, right? And just have a moment to myself with my coffee, right? Like the more I can like have the me time, a little bit of like me time. Maybe you guys have like a book you're reading, you want to read a page or two. You know, the more I could start like that versus the days where you wake up and you don't have any time to do any of that and you already have emails or oh my gosh. So like no, no, no. The more we can control our day, the better. But yeah, I've had so many different things I've done. Daily stoic journal prompts. There's tons of daily journals that will prompt you, right? People start with rage on the page, where you rage out everything you want to get out, you know? Um, so,
Not
and I really,
not to cut
yeah,
you off too. I was
yeah,
gonna say self-care is everything. Like I will put my phone on silent and go for an hour
Dude,
massage.
come on.
Like I'll go
yay.
get my nails done or do
Mhm.
something like that's for you because at the end of the day, nothing is about us. And we're just like constantly working with our clients and their best interests. We're never thinking about ourselves.
Well, to that point,
So
Courtney,
true.
we don't we only serve one client at a time, correct? In terms of having one conversation at a time, literally.
Right.
And what I've found with the advent of Calendly, which I think I've had it for probably 6, 7 years, because I have a live calendar that's out there, I put all the personal stuff in. And you know what? Book something with yourself. And okay, you want to go get your nails done? Good. Put it in there. Now nobody else can take it.
Time block.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
Oh, Alexa,
Alexa, I'd
this.
love to learn more. Sorry, the QR code. Can you send that out to us or because
Yeah,
Totally.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be
okay,
great.
cool. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you so much.
I'm just gonna wrap up, and maybe this will be a topic
Thank
at boot camp, folks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's
I
see if we
love
can bring
that.
that up. But
Hopefully you're coming, Alexa.
I would love to be there. Absolutely.
let me jump
Mhm.
into you can see my screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, super. So coming up real quick, May 14th, Thursday, is the final payment in full for the RRC New England cruise, which is happening on the 20th to the 27th. So it's not too late. We've already got 17 rooms booked, 8 hours of CRS training, and going up the Connecticut coastline to Nova Scotia and back. The next class, which is May 19th, AI for Realtors live up in Maine, Portland, Maine. Sorry to tell you, but it's sold out. We are at capacity.
Mhm.
So those who have their seats are the lucky ones.
I think they are taking some wait list in case people have to cancel, but I don't know how that's managed.
That'd be great to be able to, if somebody has something come up, for sure, fill in there. June 3rd, mid-year luncheon. This is at Newtown, Massachusetts. I'm sorry, Newton, Mass. Great venue, great time. These are all on that registration QR code that you see on the screen, most of them. This next one, July 8th, there's nothing up there in terms of a registration yet. The blue on the water This is in East Greenwich. A link will be coming soon for that. There is also July 23rd, the Massachusetts Association of Realtors YPN Social. That is a cruise on the Charles. So it's something that we are invited. We are co-hosting or sponsoring.
Sponsoring.
Co-sponsoring. But I already know of 4 CRS and RRC members that are attending. So I would definitely get yourself scheduled for that. And then last but not least, boot camp. Registration is open. The room block is limited. So schedule your room for the night before on August 3rd, and then August 4th is our boot camp. This is the cruise. If you know anything about it, want anything about it, there's a PDF in that QR code that I just shared with you. We're pushing the blood drive through the end of the year. And if we don't meet our goal of 100 pints, I hope Christina is going to continue this into next year. We're going to do this until we get 100 pints, helping our friends, families, and neighbors in the 6 states of New England. That's it for today's monthly Monday with the Masters. Greg Hanner, serving as your president this year, I want to thank you for attending, and we'll catch you at one of our new events coming up soon.
And thank you, Alexa. This was awesome. I needed this today.
Thank you. Listen, we all need little reminders. I learn every time I teach it also. Little